Good morning. It is way too early here on a Sunday, but it may be Saturday night where you are, or it may be another time zone. And yeah, I keep saying this would be a daily show, but if it ain't daily, it's pretty regular, right? But there's a few things to talk about this morning that I wanted to get into. Yeah. So basically today we're just going to cover a few things about Nintendo Direct, the the stunning results of The Conjuring last rights on the box office, as well as announcements about Scary Movie 6 and anything else you guys want to raise. That's what we'll talk about today. So, yes, the first thing I wanted to talk about, as you can see by the thumbnail, there was a Nintendo Direct. Now, if you don't know what Nintendo Directs are, they're basically like these showcases that come out every few months telling you what's coming out in the world of Nintendo. Me being a big nerd Nintendo fan, I watch them regularly. And this one was an interesting one, and not for the reasons you're thinking. The reason why this one became interesting is because the news wasn't about, well, it wasn't about a movie. No, it's about the announcement of the brand new Super Mario movie, which will be out next year. No, not next year, sorry, 2027. I'm jumping the gun there. It is early here on a Sunday. But yeah, this is huge news that they're actually going. And it's not huge news that it was making a sequel. It made a bunch load of money, right? That's the big news. Super Mario Galaxy. Which I think struck a lot of people. The fact that we would get a not only sequel so quickly, but to kind of jump all the way to a Super Mario Galaxy movie, I think is a great choice. Did you know the first movie that came out a couple of years ago now made $1.3 billion at the box office? $1 billion. Here we go. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Oddball. How are you? Let's go, right, James? Let's go. I think it's a really inspired choice to go with the sequel, because at the end of, spoiler alert, the end of the Super Mario Brothers movie, we get the hint that Yoshi is there in the sewers somewhere down a pipe. And the fact that you would think, oh, well, okay, it must be Super Mario World that they're doing for the... Nope. Straight to Galaxy. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. I hope they do Odyssey there, James. I really want a Mario Odyssey going on for sure. But the fact that the Super Mario Galaxy is, I think, a positive point in the right direction of they're going to be doing things which they feel is right for the franchise, not what people are expecting. You know what I mean? We're not. I would have been happy with just Super Mario World and the whole movie's about Yoshi's and all that kind of thing. Totally cool with that. But the fact that they've gone, yeah, screw it. We're going to do Galaxy. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. It's going to be great. And you can see all the returning cast is back, which is fantastic. Luigi, who was really almost stole that film. And, of course, Jack Black's Bowser, who is awesome. That's funny. I changed from Odyssey to Oddball. There you go. I don't know if you've ever played any of these Super Mario games, Oddball, but Super Mario Odyssey was brilliant. You know what I'm actually playing right now off the back of that is a new game called Donkey Kong Bonanza that came out for the Switch 2. That's like the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey in many ways. Very cool. Very, very cool. Besides this announcement of the movie, which is great, right? The game announcements were kind of lacking in this. And, as you can see, a lot of it was built around Super Mario. Re-releases of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Yeah, fun games. I don't know how much fun they would be without the the Wii controllers, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, man, if you're looking for Odyssey 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, once you get a Switch 2, I would highly recommend that. It feels very much the same, but you can destroy basically the entire environment. Like with Donkey Kong, you can bury holes through the earth, you can create caverns, you can pick up chunks of earth and throw it. It's a really great game. Really great game. There was an announcement. Some of the key announcements, like for it, were some of the games, like Metroid Prime 4, the Metroid Prime series. Great series, right? Like it's a top-notch series, and it'd be great to have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond coming to the console. What else did they announce? Fire Emblem, don't care. Don't care. Never played it. Except the characters in Super Smash Brothers, which awesome. This annoyed me a little bit. Donkey Kong Bonanza, the game I'm just talking about, is already releasing DLC for it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So we're down that pathway again now, where we're only really getting 80% of the game and you're going to hold back 20% so you can release it as DLC? Within what, a month or two of the game release? I think it's nuts. That annoys me. That annoys me. What else they announced here that kind of stood out? Yes, we've talked about Super Mario. That's kind of really it. Oh, this. Now, this is insane, right? Have you seen this? They are bringing the virtual. They'll certainly ban the stream. But if you continue to watch this, yes, the little known Virtua Boy, the failure, is now coming back. You're going to be able to get that. Like it's crazy how they've worked it out as well. You buy that terminal, right? And then what happens? You actually slide your Nintendo Switch or your Nintendo Switch 2 into the top of it, just like that. Boom. And that's how it works. It's nuts. I don't know. Like, if I have a lot of disposable income, yeah, maybe I can see myself getting that. Otherwise, I ain't doing it. Yeah, I agree with you. That'll be great. That is one good announcement they had from it, Legacy. Yeah. So clearly you're a Mortal Kombat fan. Did you like Mortal Kombat 1, James? Because man, you know who's stupid enough to buy it on a Nintendo Switch? This guy. And it performed like ass. It was horrible. However, the previous one, Mortal Kombat 11, ran great on the Switch and wasn't as good, say, as the PC or a PlayStation, but was still really usable. But Mortal Kombat 1, like the newest, one, bad, real bad. But it's all about Mortal Kombat 2, right? Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. That's where it lives. MK1 that came out a few ago was just okay. I play on Xbox and it was awesome. But the game is lackluster. It really was a disappointment from 11, I thought. A real drop down in quality. But, nevertheless. So, besides some interesting announcements on this, not a lot of hella great stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, Mario Tennis Fever, I'm not in love with that idea. So yeah, that was that. But I certainly wanted to talk about the film announcement because, like I said, that thing was an excuse to print money. That first movie, because it was funny, it was good. So the fact that yes, they've surprise, they've greenlit a sequel, but the fact of the matter is they are just jumping in these fresh directions. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's move on, Let's move on. Let's have a look at the other news that I think was amazing. The Conjuring Last Rites has just been released a few days ago. And already at the box office, and this is crazy because the series has never been this successful, and I'll give you evidence of that. It is currently $84 million domestic opening, which is a series high. No other time in the franchise, whether it's the main timeline of Conjuring or its spin-offs, have they ever done so well. So they're projected a $113 million opening weekend. Right. That is the biggest opening in history for a horror film. In history, that's it. I mean, that's huge, right? That is massive in my mind that The Conjuring has done that in what? Film 4 or 5? I can't quite remember now. But the international box office, $165 million as well. Even more evidence that not only is The Conjuring loved in its country of origin, but this thing internationally is massive. So right now, which is Sunday in Australia and still freaking Saturday in the Northern Hemisphere, this thing has a worldwide total prediction of $280 million globally over a weekend. That is beyond a hit. That is a phenomenon at this point. So, which is great. And let's look at it comparatively to the other films in the franchise that got released. I've got the data here from Box Office Mojo. Now, let's have a look at the Conjuring universe and some of its grosses. The last lifetime gross, and this is all domestic, all right? So this is domestic. I don't think this includes internationally as well. So domestic meaning American dollars, like how much it made there. The Conjuring hit at $137 million, the first one. Yep, no surprise there. It was a great film. I think a sleeper hit, you would almost say. Because the budget wasn't huge on it. I know that, but it really hit a nerve with people. I love it. The number 2 in the franchise, $117 million, is The Nun. I haven't seen it. I know the wife's seen it. I think she enjoys it, but I haven't seen it. But I have seen all the Conjuring films. The Conjuring 2 at $102 million. Annabelle Creation, another $102 million. The Nun 2 at $86. Annabelle at $84. Annabelle Comes Home at $74. And then The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I mean, it's the second worst performing film in the franchise at $65 million. Now, in its defense, it was a COVID film. Came out in COVID. No one really went to the cinema. So it is a reflection. But boy, has it not hit back massively. This is huge. It's a bona fide hit. Champagne glasses are clinking over at Warner Brothers this weekend with this one. So kind of very cool. Very cool. And again, Warner Brothers' run of films this year has been unbelievable. I think this is film 8 or 9 now that is grossed this year over $40 million in its weekend. Yeah, unbelievable. Dude, this is a great comment. A huge fan of James Wan and Leigh Whannell, and I'll see almost anything they produce. A great pair of blokes. And they are blokes. They're both Aussie guys. In fact, Leigh Whannell used to host a Saturday morning, was it Saturday morning? I think Oddball would be able to tell me. Music show on our national broadcast service, ABC. Leigh Whannell, as a young guy, used to host the show called Recovery. And he would introduce local bands and all this kind of thing. So he was kind of like a TV guy. And then he went away for a while. And then one day he comes back with Saw. Him and James Wan, like working together. But they're wonderful filmmakers. And I would almost argue they're kind of responsible for a lot of the resurgence of quality horror in the 2000s, like especially with the Saw series and everything else that kind of came through Insidious and all them. They were like the next tier of quality. No longer were horror films just stuck to a straight to DVD or VHS. You know, you'd still get your hit horror films. Maybe you'd get The Sixth Sense, whether that's horror or not, and things like that. But they made it that more often not now, you were getting a lot of horror films. I mean, Blumhouse exists because of James Wan and Leigh Whannell, let's face it. That studio doesn't exist without those guys. Yes, great filmmaker. I always thought James Wan, I liked Aquaman, James Wan's Aquaman. I didn't like the sequel, but I'd like him just to go back and do more, not just horror, but maybe less IP films and more what he's got going on up here in the way of ideas. Very cool. Very cool. Well, yes. I mean, look, it's like any horror franchise. You're going to have your dips in quality in certain films. But overall, the Saw series is not only highly entertaining, but an important series in regards to, like I was just saying about the next tier of horror film, and Saw series to me fits in that. Yeah, it goes to some wacky places. But at the end of the day, yeah, the fact that two guys just created this film in their apartment and then went, all right, we've got enough money together, we can do it. It's incredible. Saw series is fantastic. I think it's great. Yes, so no, good news for the Conjuring series. Really great stuff. So, yeah. Now, moving over to another horror movie franchise. Marlon, now I don't know if you'd heard, right, that Scary Movie 6 has now been rushed into production. And when I say rushed into production, oh boy, there are no stops. This thing needs to be filming soon, like real soon. And I don't want to be Mr. Cynical, but I'm going to put it out there. This Scary Movie 6 idea does not exist if it wasn't for the hype and the initial opening weekend success of the Naked Gun movie. Because essentially that's what scary movies are. They are the spoof movie. They kind of got their success off the backs of previous spoof genres like the Hot Shot series, the Naked Gun series, the movie Top Secret, the Airplane series. So yeah, I like the first three. Look, I'm not saying that they're the most awesome things in the world, but I did have entertainment value out of the first three. Especially number 3 with Charlie Sheen being back. Like in that one, I like that. And it was a Signs ripoff. Yeah. I don't hate this, but it's look, to be honest with you, at number 6, this is a part in the Wayans' career. Is it Regina Hall who's going to meet Regina Hall King returning? And then the main girl, she was married to Chris Pratt for a while. I've gone blank. Why have I forgotten this woman's name? Everyone knows what we mean. But yeah, and because, yeah, it's not exactly the highest bar, right? They're not exactly the most shining cinematic experience, but they're funny. They're funny. What can you do? I thought because of this, I would then, let's go down the rabbit hole again with Box Office Mojo and have a look at the franchise. Why are they even doing Scary Movie 6 besides the fact they've seen the Naked Gun, fire in all cylinders and make a lot of money? So, by the way, before I go there, I will give you my review of the new Naked Gun movie because I only saw it a week ago. It's good. It's funny. But I got to say, I don't think it's as funny as the original trilogy of them. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong. Liam Neeson's hilarious. Pamela Anderson's great. Lots of funny moments. And it's close. It just doesn't, cross that bar for me. But anyway, back to the Scary Movie franchise. And let's have a look. And again, this is all domestic box office results. And they're not spending a lot of money on these movies. They're definitely not. So Scary Movie, $157 million. Yes, that was a hit. If you looked at the worldwide gross, I think this thing ended up making like $300 million globally. It was just insane. Scary Movie 3 is the next one with a $110 million opening weekend. And that was a good scary movie. And I think with the addition of some of the people from Hot Shots and Charlie Sheen being sober while he was filming that definitely helped. No, he brought cachet to it, believe it or not, and from a comedy perspective. Then we had Scary Movie 4 at 90 million. Scary Movie 2 at 71, which is a surprise because it's under half of the gross of Scary Movie. Yeah, I would say, although not as good, it was pretty good. Like, it wasn't horrible. And then Scary Movie 5 at $32 million. So why do you go into production and make a film which clearly at this point in time will cost you $32 million to make? What's the appeal? What's the point? It's got to be to do with, hey, this is popular at the moment. We need to jump on that bandwagon, which is so Hollywood. Hollywood of the last 30 years is that's what they do. They find something people are interested, and then we flood the marketplace with it all. And it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating because we don't get creative new voices. We get the same crap dealt out again and again. I'm not saying it's going to be crap. Maybe Scary Movie 6 is amazing. But it's just another example of Hollywood just being creatively bankrupt. Does that mean I'll ever stop watching or talking about it? No way, because I am also hopeful in knowing there is a revolution coming in regards to the cinema experience. We are going to get content that is fresh and original, and you can see it starting to creep in bit by bit. So, yeah, be less of this stuff, because what will happen if Scary Movie 6 is a financial failure, right? Now, again, let's do the math on it. Say it's a $40 million budget, which seems pretty reasonable for a comedy. Anna Faris, that's the chick's name, Anna Faris. Again, you've got to double that budget, right? So then because you've got marketing costs. And a movie like that, the marketing is probably going to be twice as much as the budget. So you need $100 million there in total. And then obviously in return, you still need the thing to make $300 million because of the theater cuts and everything else. Just seems such a big risk for which essentially should be straight to streaming, right? Yeah, low budget plus known IP equals box office success. A well-worn formula, which if it didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it, but it works for them, right? Let's drag that. Let's kind of wring every bit of moisture out of that franchise. And and with low budget, I mean, like Friday the 13th as a low budget series has spent more on legal fees and fighting IP court cases than it has profitability in the last 30 years. Like the Friday the 13th series has been insanely difficult to deal with. And in fact, I know we got a series coming up, a prequel series, but I don't think they're ever allowed to use the mask. I don't think they're ever allowed to. There's certain key things they can't use. And it's the reason why we haven't had another Friday the 13th since 2009 at the theaters. Is because they go, no, that prints money. Because Friday the 13th was known as an ultra cheap movie that made so much money at the box office. Filmed in 1980, mind you, 55 years ago. Oh boy. So yeah, like they're always going to do that, aren't they? They won't learn. And honestly, if I was to be really honest with you, studios like Troma and some of those other, I've gone blank on the other famous B grade, like Roger Corman Productions, anything like that, they do feed off that as well. I mean, that's how they, but I always love those studios because they would put a different spin on it. You know what I mean? Like if you were doing a slasher film, there's something completely wacky about the slasher, right? Maybe he's dressed as Santa Claus or something else, or a happy clown. I mean, that's cool. I like when they kind of do that. But these, major studios are just trying to wring an extra dollar out of Scary Movie. Like, I'll be really interested to see how it performs. Really interested. But there you go. I don't know what will be the catalyst at some point for the studios to go, no, we actually need to go right back here and rethink about how we're being profitable at the cinema. But it's probably a hard time for them too, because they've been unable to grasp the streaming model and make that work sustainably for the industry as a whole. Like, out of the streaming debacle, there are victims. And for it to be a cohesive, healthy industry, there can't be victims because a new services come in. They need a way to kind of equalize it. And I think, the hardest thing then would be to grasp, would be to say, hey, we're not going to spend $250 million on this IP film, because we know we can make big money out of it if it works. Oh boy, can we make money. But surely they're going to be saying the risk is too damn high, where we could have 10 films for $20 million each by auteur directors with really fascinating scripts. And aren't your odds better? Surely one or two of them is going to do quite well. What's to say 5 of them don't do well and you end up grossing more combined that you would have with an Avengers film? I think those days are coming. I believe that. I think it is. Well, I'm going to wrap it up this morning because it is Sunday morning and it is not even 8 a.m. local time. I think it's around, I'd have to say it's around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in America, or wherever you're from. James, where are you from in the big green globe of ours? Where do you navigate? I'm pretty sure if you're from the US, you're from here, you're from London. Are you from a little tiny cave in Siberia? Where are you from, buddy? California. Where dreams are made and crushed a block away from each other, right? Whereabouts in California? Are you anywhere near the wood of holly? Or you're more like, I don't know, San Francisco, Sacramento in California? All that type of thing. I don't know. I'm navigationally limited in my knowledge. But yes, awesome. California, one place I haven't gone to yet. I'd love to visit California. It's certainly on my list. Just so much of it. Oh, well, cool. NorCal, just near San Francisco. Awesome, man. Now that's the city I want to go and visit. Number one, I just want to remind folks about the show. There's one rule about this show that I have. No politics. No politics. Politics don't live here, all right? We don't do that here. I don't care if the world is on fire. We're talking movies. We're talking TV. We're talking gaming. We're going to talk fun stuff, all right? But in saying that, what I've just said, I don't care what people say about San Francisco and the thing. I want to go. I think it is the most amazing city. Like, just from an architectural standpoint and a layout. I lie to you. I have been to San Francisco International Airport for a 3-hour overlay last year. So I have actually been to, unfortunately, I was just in the airport. It was a layover. I flew from Melbourne here in Australia all the way to San Fran and then got on a flight from San Fran over to New York. So, yeah, I have been there a little bit. So, but I'd love to go visit. I know the wife would love to spend some time not just the California we see on TV, but the real California, the beautiful, places like where you're at. So really cool. Can we have a second rule? No Jared Leto talk. It's going to be Listen, that's a tough one, dude, because he's got a movie coming out in a couple of weeks. Okay. I tell you what, you lead that. If you don't want us to talk about Jared Leto, buddy, we won't talk about Jared Leto. But in return, if you really like Tron Ares, then you're kind of going to have to talk about him. And dude, next year comes out Masters of the Universe. Like, dude, like, clearly I'm going to have to talk about Skeletor, right? I'm going to have to bring it up, but we'll keep it at a minimum. Who knows? And I think, I will say it's a cross moment for Jared Leto. He's got a chance here in 2 movies to gain maybe just an increment of respect about his acting abilities. But if he screws the pooch on these, oh boy, he might as well try to get on a Mars mission and go off planet. Right? He needs to be 30 seconds from Mars at this point because no one is ever going to want anything to do with that dude ever again. All right. I'm a huge Tron fan. I'm scared for Tron Ares, but I'm hoping he proves us wrong. Okay, Tron Ares is a really interesting concept. I myself am a big defender of Tron Legacy, which has, the greatest score ever for a film. It's my favorite score out of anything. And I'm a big composer fan, but that Daft Punk score elevates that film in ways that are almost unexplainable. I love both those films. I will defend them. So I'm with you. And I really wasn't a fan of the concept when I'd heard it. But seeing the trailers, I think the execution is there. And I think they've got a good idea there. Hopefully, it's a Beetlejuice situation. And what I mean is, in the movie Beetlejuice, and they talked about it on the press tour from Beetlejuice is only on camera for 17 minutes. For both those films. Like 17 minutes in the first one, 17 minutes in the second one. Now, if they do that with Jared Leto's character, he's in like 17 minutes of the film, they use him sparingly, and they don't give him much dialogue, it could work. I'm going to see it. Like, I am absolutely going to see this film. And I hope too. I've got to say, the soundtrack they've got going this time, though, also sounds amazing. 9 Inch Nails and that. The pieces of music they released, just amazing. And it looks visually just stunning. Yeah. You know what? People are saying, oh, they released it in October. It can't be that good. No, that's an unfair statement. If my memory serves me correct, both Tron and Tron Legacy were known to be released in the fall months in America. So I don't think that's unusual. In fact, I think for a film like this that had mixed reviews for the sequel, putting it in a place where it can breathe, like its only real competition around then are the horror films. So it can stand alone being, well, here's an alternative to a horror film, and maybe good word of mouth and that can kind of build into it. You know? So, yeah, we'll see what happens, but I really want to see it. Yeah, I'll be opening weekend. There's no doubt. Yeah, Daft Punk did elevate Legacy to the next level. Dude, I played that music still to this time. Like, it's on my Spotify playlist. I'm constantly playing those pieces, whether it's Recognize or Outland or, it's incredible. So, and you know what? This is what's interesting about Tron Ares. Like, both first Trons, they kind of sat on the horse of technology, if you know what I mean. With the first Tron, they wowed you with the first use of CGI, and then in Tron Legacy, it was, hey, look what we can do now in 2010 visually. Doesn't this wow you? This is the first Tron film where I don't think they're doing that. It's just about the story. Like, so the focus isn't to the audience, check out our fancy effects, because we've seen it all by now. This is more like, hey, we've got a story to tell. And that alone gets me excited. So, yeah, great stuff. All right, well, I can't think of a better way to wrap this up this morning. Thanks, James, for hanging out, dude. Thank you. Please share it. Let your friends know that you're watching it. Yeah, I'm starting to work on new stuff. I will tell you, oh boy, episode 9 is nearly done, and I think we've outdone ourselves in this episode. And then, yeah, so again, I know you're you've been a big fan from the beginning. And I know it's been a beat, but I think it's going to be worth it for this one. And yeah, I'll be back, I'd say, in a couple of days, guys, with some more kind of I'm talking to. Who knows what it'll be about, but I'll tell you what it won't be about. No politics zone. See you guys. See you next time.